place where one can find comfort and rest easy in. However, are we ever truly safe, even in a location where we and our families reside? In the next 3 cases, we'll explore some of the most mysterious and terrifying home invasion murders in history. Located 43 miles away from Munich, Germany, lies a small farmstead known as Hinter Kaifact. It was built around 1863 and was settled in by the Grubers, consisting of Andreas Gruber, his wife Kazilia, their daughter Victoria Gabriel, her children, a daughter also named Kazilia, and a son named Joseph, as well as the family maid Maria Baumgartner. The family was relatively isolated, meaning that it would take a while for help to come if the family was in trouble. This isolation would play a part in one of the deadliest and most mysterious cases in German crime. On April 4th, 1922, Victoria's daughter Kazilia was found to have missed school for 2 days in a row. Growing concerned, locals decided to check up on the Grubers. When they arrived at the farm, they found that none of the mail had been collected, indicating that the Grubers had been gone for a while, a week at most. Suspecting foul play, the police were called to the scene, but what they found next was extremely disturbing and bizarre. In the barn house, they found the bodies of Andreas, Kazilia, Victoria, and the younger Kazilia, while also finding the corpses of the maid, Maria, and young Joseph in their bedrooms. All the family members were hacked to death by a pickaxe to the head, as revealed in a later autopsy. It was also deduced that the family was murdered on March 31st, 1922. Additionally, it was found that Victoria's daughter, Kazilia, had survived the initial attack, but later died as a result of shock from the initial strike, as indicated by the strands of hair she tore out after being struck in the head. However, what was most strange about the murders were both the dates leading up to the murder and the days after. In the investigation, it was revealed that no money was taken, but rather food from the family was. The animals in the barn appeared to have been fed as well. Whoever the murderers were, it appeared as they lived on the farm for a few days after committing their crime. Before the murder, the family maid, before Maria, quit 6 months prior after hearing strange noises in the attic, claiming that the property was haunted. In the days leading up to the murder, Andreas Gruber noticed several bizarre happenings, such as footsteps leading to the farm's room for machinery with a broken lock, and a newspaper that Gruber had no memory of buying. Whether these occurrences had anything to do with the murder is anyone's guess. During the police investigation, a list of 100 suspects was compiled. Amongst this list was Carl Gabriel, Victoria's supposedly dead husband, who was thought to have faked his death to join the Soviets after World War I. It was theorized that Carl had come back to take revenge on the family after his wife, Victoria, was suspected to have engaged in an incestual relationship with her father. What further complicates this theory was the fact that a Soviet officer confessed to this crime after World War II, but nothing ever came up of this claim. Other more plausible theories were a pair of brothers who were working on the farm and a possible secret lover of Victoria. However, there has been no conclusive evidence to pinpoint the crime to one suspect or suspects. On a final note, a person in a nearby town confessed to the crime before running to the forest, but nothing ever came up of it. To this day, the Kaifact murders remain unsolved. The Sategaya district of Tokyo, Japan is a relatively quiet and calm district compared to the hustle and bustle of nearby neighborhoods. Living in the Kamiso Shigaya neighborhood of this district were the Miyazawa family, consisting of Mikio Miyazawa, Yasuko, and their children, Rei and Nina, who all seemed to be a relatively normal and happy family. However, what would happen on December 30th, 2000, in this usually calm neighborhood was anything but peaceful. The day after, on New Year's Eve 2000, the family's maternal grandmother, Haruko, visited the estate after being unable to reach her daughter by phone, only to find her daughter and the rest of the family murdered. The police were immediately contacted to investigate the gruesome scene and were able to piece together what happened. During the night of the murderer climbed to the second floor of the house and strangled 6-year-old Ray to death. The husband Mikio detected the murderer's entrance and attacked him using a sashimi knife. A scuffle later ensued, resulting in a shard of the blade lodged into Mikio's head. Yasuko and Nina were later killed after being stabbed multiple times. What was incredibly strange about this case was the large amounts of evidence that was left behind by the killer. After the murder was committed, the killer took his time relaxing at the house for around 2 to 10 hours, taking a nap on the family sofa, using the family computer, treating his wound, and doing his business in the bathroom, and even helping himself to the family's tea and ice cream. The blood samples left behind after the killer's struggle with Mikio indicated that they were of European and Asian descent, and the fecal matter left in the bathroom indicated that the killer had eaten sesame seeds and string beans the day prior to the murder. A pouch of sand was also left behind, indicating that the killer may have been in Nevada or California. Despite all the pieces of evidence assembled, police have been unable to pinpoint the crime to a person. It's currently 2021, and the investigation continues. There have been over 13,000 tips on the case, but nothing conclusive. To find out more about updates on this case, check out the Japanese Wikipedia article I have linked in the description below. Since then, the Miyazawa household has been torn down due to concerns of the building collapsing, leaving behind the legacy of a terrifying murder that shook a peaceful community forever. In Pluma County of Northern California lies the vacation town of Keddie. The community of Keddie is relatively isolated and has a recorded population of 76 as of 2021. With such a small population and the relative isolation in the Northern California forest, a cry for help is likely to go unheard. In 1980, Glenna Susan Sue Sharp and her 5 children, John, Sheila, Tina, Rick, and Greg, moved to Cabin 28 in Keddie, California after separating from her husband as a result of a rocky marriage. The Sharps had moved to Keddie, California, hoping to find peace in a small and quiet community, but what happened the year after would be anything but that. On April 11, 1981, John Sharp and his friend Dana Wingate returned to Cabin 28 after traveling back and forth between Keddie and Quincy. Meanwhile, the daughter Sheila was spending time with a neighboring family after her sister Tina returned home and Sue was taking care of Rick, Greg, and the boys' friend, Justin Smart. Sheila would return the following morning and discovered a horrific sight that would shake the Keddie community. Sheila returned home to find John, Dana, and Sue's corpses bound to tape in the living room. The 3 young boys, Greg, Rick, and Justin, were found to be alive while Tina was missing. All 3 victims were killed using a combination of hammer blows and knives, while Sue's body was found nearly naked with a piece of fabric and her panties covering her mouth. The police took to interviewing several neighbors. Among them were the Smarts, Justin's parents, who found Tina's bloody jacket and also reported the disappearance of their hammer. Others recalled a suspicious vehicle that had been described as either a green van or a brown Datsun car with a flat tire. However, the most compelling pieces of evidence came from Justin Smart. Smart had originally claimed to be dreaming of the events of the murder, but later claimed to have actually seen them after undergoing hypnosis. Smart claimed that 2 men had entered Cabin 28 and argued with the 3 victims and then later kidnapped Tina after she returned. The 2 men were described by Justin as both wearing glasses, with one man having a mustache and short hair, while the other had long hair and was shaven. Despite Justin's testimony and the evidence at the crime scene, no suspects were pinpointed. However, in 1984, 3 years after the murders, parts of a person's skull and clothing were found at Feather Fall in Butte County. They were found to have belonged to Tina Sharp after tests were ran on them. After 1984, a wide variety of theories came about suspecting who the murderers may be, one of which included Martin Smart, the father of Justin Smart, and Martin's friend, John Bobede. Strangely enough, it was Martin's wife, Marilyn, who suspected him and his friend. Marilyn's claims were later disproven as her husband was revealed to pass a lie detector test conducted by Sheriff Douglas Thomas. Both men had passed away by the turn of the century, so any way to trace the crime back to them is near impossible. Or is it? In 2016, Martin's hammer was found in a pond in a letter that Martin wrote to Marilyn after leaving Keddy, in which he eerily states that, quote-unquote, "I've paid the price of your love, and now I've bought it with 4 people's lives," resurfaced. This could have referenced how Martin may have taken the lives of 4 people in cabin 28. It did seem quite odd that Martin happened to lose his hammer, and could explain why Justin, his son, and Justin's friends were not targeted by the killers. Martin had also been seeing a counselor after returning from the Vietnam War. In one session, Martin's counselor alleged that Martin confessed to the murders. However, any secrets that Martin Smart was carrying had gone to the grave along with him. Developments still arrive to this day. For example, DNA from the tape of the crime scene was traced back to a possible living suspect in 2018. So the hope that the killers will be brought to justice remains alive. Hey, what's up guys? It's Beyond Dirt here, and I would like to say thanks for watching. I guess I'm finally back from my 3 to 4 year hiatus. I just thought I would pick up making videos again as some sort of hobby, and I'll try to post weekly from now on. So yeah, once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. And remember, always go beyond the darkness.